I remember years ago when I was at St. Augustine Seminary studying to be a priest, I was entering my final years, and there was a real chance that I might really leave the seminary, right? It was really touch and go at that point. And so it was really fortunate that a really good priest friend of mine introduced me to one of his spiritual directees who had sort of mystical abilities, right? So basically, this guy could read souls. So if I met you, for example, and then I met him, without having met you, he could say all sorts of interesting things about you that he shouldn't be able to know. And if he met you directly, then all sorts of interesting possibilities would arise, right? And so this was the case here. So he met me directly in the presence of my priest friend, and he was reading my heart, he was reading my soul. And so at a certain point, what he said to me is, you're afraid. You're afraid. And obviously that was true. And he said, in particular, you're afraid that if you get ordained, you won't last, and you won't endure, and that you won't be a very good priest. And everything he said was just like bang on. But then he said, all of that is a lie. All of that is a lie, because the truth of the matter is, when you get ordained, you will last, and you will endure, and you will be a very good priest. And because of Christ working through your priesthood, many, many people will not go to hell. And I gotta tell you, friends, I needed that. I needed every line, I needed every word exactly the way that he said it. But, just to be clear about what he was saying to me, in a certain sense, what he was saying was like, look, you believe, or rather you know, that in order to live the Christian thing with authenticity and integrity, it requires a certain kind of dying to oneself. And that's true, that's absolutely true. But the difficulty is that you believe that if you do this, it will end in darkness and nothingness. And therein lies the lie, right? Whereas the reality is that the only way to find new life is to die to yourself such that other people might live. But you see, your problem is that you don't believe it. You don't believe it. But it's really important that you believe it. We need you to believe it. The world needs you to believe it. Because if you come to believe it and learn to live out of this space, the world is watching. People will see and people will learn. And if they too have the courage to live out of this space, in that they will find joy. In that they will find salvation.